This meeting is being conducted in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertisement in the Cape May Star and Wave on the Township website and posted on the bulletin board of Township Hall.
All right, we could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Conrad?
Here.
Councilmember Perry?
Here.
Councilmember Roy?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sippel?
Here.
Mayor Simonson?
Here. All right, we have no work session this evening, so we move right down to our, excuse me, consent agenda. And looking at the consent agenda, does anyone on council have any questions or comments? No?
No comments.
All right, seeing none, we open up the public portion of just on the work session. If anyone has any questions or comments, please just state your name and your address for the record and come up to the microphone. Seeing none, close the public portion.
Approval of minutes from the February 4th, 2019 meeting. Resolutions number 2019-88 through 2019-95. Ordinance number 2019-03, an ordinance amending Chapter 3-22D of the Code of the Township of Lower, providing that township residency will be a preferential consideration but will not be solely determinative for appointment of non-police department applicants, and ordinance number 2019-04, an ordinance amending Chapter 56, Local Defense/Emergency Management Council of the Code of the Township of Lower. This is the first reading of both ordinance 2019-03 and 2019-04. The second reading and public hearing of both of these ordinances have been scheduled for March 18th, 2019.
Get a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
I'll second the motion.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Roy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sippel?
Yes.
Mayor Simonson?
Yes. All right, we move down to our, let's do manager's report.
Good evening, gentlemen. On March 14th at 10 o'clock in the morning, the meeting was set up today with, from the governor's office. There'll be a meeting at the Sunset Lounge at the ferry terminal, and all of council certainly will be invited. But in that same week in New Brunswick on March 11th, the governor is having a summit meeting for the Opportunity Zone at the Hyatt up there in New Brunswick, and at least 2 members of our team will be present at that also. And the meeting at the DRBA, Mr. Cook will be there, as well as the VP of Operations, Steve Williams, and freeholders will be invited also. So I'm looking forward to that, because that will be the beginning of us unveiling our plan for our census tract. And Jim also has hired an economist to work with him that's hopefully that they will present 20 to 25 viable businesses that he feels could work inside the tract.
Hey, Jim, do you have a time for that?
10 a.m. Also, we had some great news last Friday as the National Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies honored Lower Township for outstanding leadership to advance resilience of the nation's living natural resources. I have the award here that I brought tonight, and I want you to know that this is the 2018 Climate Adaptation Leadership Award for building ecological solutions to coastal community hazards. And, you know, that I can say in the last 4 years, with regards to council has been heavily involved in this bay projects, as well as the engineering firms that have worked diligently up there. And this is another great thing that's taken place there, and there's a lot of kudos to go around. And Dr. Farrell doesn't even know about this yet. I haven't been able to reach him at Stockton. But, you know, although it's been a battle, I think there's folks out there seeing that we're doing the right thing along the bayfront when it comes to our projects. Bill Galestock did meet with Atlantic Electric last Friday, and I received an email in which it stated that they are going to work with us in Skellinger Landing. Appears at no cost due to safety regulations in helping us move the telephone poles in the Skellinger Landing Causeway, which will save us thousands of dollars in this project. So this was another great job by the engineering firm and Bill Galestock staying on that to make that project a real good one.
Jim, I would say more than thousands, probably in the, probably a couple 100,000, I would think. Correct?
I didn't hear you.
More than a couple thousand, I'll tell you that.
Well, it's thousands, I
Yeah,
said.
yeah, it's probably
Which
in the,
honestly, the cost is
Hundreds.
over 400,000.
yeah, exactly. Great
You're
job.
correct, hundreds of thousands. And lastly, and I think although everybody saw the tradition, which would be a tradition of excellence on Saturday, but me personally, I hope in years moving forward, this council continues to honor Dave Douglas's, the Douglas family, and the heroism that was displayed that evening with that evil tragedy. And I just was taken back with that ceremony to the point where I went back and I saw today the ceremony from 25 years ago. And I was just amazed at the thousands of people, police personnel that showed up on Town Bank Road to support that day. So it was great support for the family, and you know, we all know it. That's why we support the police the way we do. With that said, that's it.
Thank you. And we have an engineer's report this evening. I think Mr. Stray is here.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'll start off with the Roseanne Avenue project. The contractor has installed grid chamber number 1 on the pump station site and has moved his bypass pumping operations out of the Clearwater Drive intersection, backfilled and opened it up to traffic. That was last week. The contractor has continued with pipe installation. Currently, right now, they're about ready to exit out of the easement area, and they have experienced some minor delays due to utility lines, Verizon and Atlantic Electric in that area, but they are looking to get out of that area and back into the street probably the beginning of next week. At the bi-weekly progress meeting held last Thursday, they did indicate that they still are on schedule, and it was anticipated that beginning this week, a second crew would be coming behind them to install inlets and start laying out for curb and sidewalk improvements. They've done a lot of the demolition work, and it looks like that probably won't start till next week at this point due to some weather issues. The contractor continues with the demolition of curb and sidewalk in preparation for the construction of his flat work along the north and south side of Roseanne Avenue. Pipe installation is progressing eastward, and it looks like as of the 15th, we have approximately 750 feet of pipe in, and we have a total of 1,700 on the project. So we're getting closer now and back into the cartway. So Roseanne Avenue Phase 3, just wanted to let you know we did receive the CAFR permit for that project last week. So of the 6 permits now, we have the last one going into the DEP Friday for the treatment works approval. And that project's actually getting wrapped up. We are required to submit the plans and specs to the New Jersey I-Bank as part of the financing agreement with the NJEIT infrastructure. We're anticipating doing that in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Typically, they turn things around in a 2 to 3 week period. We then have to give roughly a month's notice to them before we advertise. So tentatively speaking, at this point, we're probably looking at sometime in April, May to advertise, potentially with a June, July award date. And based on the construction schedule we're looking at right now, the plan is to have all of the construction improvements done, roadway done by, except for the final 2-inch pavement by December 1st of this year. And then at that point, we're going to have to see if there's a period of a week or so where the contractor can get in and do the final paving, assuming weather permits him to do so. So I think for all intents and purposes, we're looking to secure the Phase 3 project by the end of the year, as we indicated previously in our schedule. So that's moving along. The beach access improvement project, those plans, CAFR application went in on January 23rd. They've received it. They are reviewing it for administrative completeness at this point, so we're probably looking at the public comment period in March. The Recreation Center restroom upgrades, we've delivered plans and specs and estimate to Mitch on the 12th, and we actually have a meeting set up with him and Gary Cleaver next Thursday to review the plans and specs and the cost estimate and decide the next step in that project. The emergency repair to the pipeline on Clubhouse Drive, no change from the last meeting. We're still waiting on the DEP to sign off on the Tidelands application. They own some of the property that we need to get the Tidelands license for, so we're still pursuing that. However, the other permits, the waterfront development and freshwater wetlands have been submitted. They were submitted back in the middle of January. So, and then finally, the Mulligan Field project. We finished the field survey and base mapping, and we're in the process of reviewing the project and starting the master planning of the new features. And we're working on that right now. So that's all I have at the moment. If there's any questions on any of the projects? Seeing none?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, I guess we move down to council comments. Councilman Conrad?
Keep it short. The award we received that the manager talked about. There's a couple unsung heroes in that weren't mentioned, not by choice. Planning and zoning boards. They've adopted a lot of the rules and regulations to allow this to get this award. They're unsung volunteers like a lot of our boards. They do a lot. I'd also like to thank the construction office and Jen Dowd, our tax assessors, our floodplains management, I believe, are part of the team, for getting this stuff out and getting it to the zoning and planning board so we can meet and actually exceed what is expected of us for the environment and working on the coast. They do a wonderful job. Other than that, that is it for me.
I really have no comment. I think Mr. Schrey handled everything that I was going to touch on, so.
Just like to say all good news from the township engineer and the township manager. Thank you for giving us such detailed updates.
Sergeant Major?
Okay, just two things, veterans related. Just a reminder, the Beef and Beer for the Run for the Fallen is March 2nd from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Arlene has tickets in Township Hall. You also can go online and buy some tickets. So again, March 2nd from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And also, as a reminder, the City of Cape May is issuing free beach tags to all veterans, and they're issuing right now for this coming summer. That's all I have.
Very nice. All right, I don't have much either. I did want to, I guess, reiterate what Mr. Ridgway said about the ceremony on Monday for David Douglas. It was truly an outpouring of the community. I give thanks again to the Chief Mastriani who put it together, and it's just an unfortunate thing, but I think this community has kept the legacy alive, and it's been 25 years, so it's always great to see a local hero remembered. So it was done very well and very tastefully, and it was an honor to be at. So Also, along with that, one of the things that we talked about, and I'll get into it more at the next meeting, is before, when we were running the sit-up here, was talk about public safety. And we have, the heroin and opioid problems and crime in general, and keeping our kids safe. And that's what we've done. We've added more police on the street. Those numbers are down. Police numbers are up. We've just added another police officer, and we're now up to 50 officers in Lower Township, and we're proud of that. And we're proud to keep the citizens safe. And we've also, as I mentioned in past meetings, we now have an SRO in each of the junior high and the high school, as well as all 4 of the elementary schools. So, with that being said, everybody be safe out driving tonight. And with that, we open it up to the public. If you have any questions or comments, step up to the mic and just give us your name and address for the record. So the mic is now open. Mr. Belasco, do you have anything you'd like to add? Thank you. Just checking. Judy? Now, when we adjourn, Judy's going to talk to us for about 20 minutes. So come on, if you got something to say. All right, at this, can I get a motion to adjourn and go into closed session?
Resolution number 2019-96.
Stole your thunder there, Julie.
A resolution providing for a meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12. This is to discuss attorney-client privilege and a possible litigation.
Make a motion.
Second. Hill second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Roy?
Yes?
Deputy Mayor Sippel?
Yes?
Mayor Simonson?
Yes.